FarmFest brings together over 30,000 participants to be able to exhibit their expertise and exhibit their products. I participated with Minnesota African United when they were going for a trade mission to FarmFest. I actually networked with a lot of people. I had some connections, I had questions, and there was a lot to learn. I went back to MAU. Fortunately for me, there was a down payment grant assistance from the Minnesota Department of Agriculture. So I applied for that grant, and then I started the process of getting my farm. At the moment right now, I'm actually acquiring 10 acres of land for my farm business. That will go a long way to help me to improve myself and my business. It will also help me to be able to employ others so that they can also have some income for themselves and the economy will grow. I would say Minnesota African United to me is the backbone of my business. They've actually empowered knowledge into me. They've actually helped me to start up my business. They actually made me to have ideas that I never thought of. It's just so amazing because anytime that I need them, they are always there for me.
Lived in Lebanon for a while and moved to the United States in Providence, Rhode Island, of all places, in 1990 permanently. Spent a huge chunk of my formative life there and then moved to Minnesota to finish up high school. As you know, we have a pretty large population here in Minnesota. We call Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, Little Liberia. And I think I was one of technically the second wave of people who really brought the mass migration over from the East Coast to Minnesota as well. I have a family of 2 daughters who are teenagers. They're both in high school. I have a son who's technically a dog as well. It's my only son that I can call my son. And my husband and I, we live in St. Paul. And I'll be able to share a bit more about Firefly and the work that we do as well and who we do it with. But I'm really excited to be on here.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name's Anita Fondicom. I am an entrepreneur in Minnesota. I am a third-generational farmer. I do farming. I produce fruits and vegetables, sell them to direct consumers. I sell them to food groups. I sell them to other food hubs and even to schools around Minnesota. I am a wife and I have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. We immigrated from Cameroon. I immigrated from Cameroon to Minnesota in 2014. Then I later on went back and got married and I brought my family here. That is when I decided to actually start my own business. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, all of you. So I'm going to start with you, Fatima. Please tell us a little bit more about your business, Firefly, and please tell us what inspired you to start your business.
Yeah, I know oftentimes when I tell people I'm in government affairs or government relations, I think there's often a blank stare because folks don't really know what that means, especially even when you use the term a lobbyist. So my firm and my partners and I, and actually former Representative Horan Hassan is a partner with me as well in the firm. But what we do is we take either policy changes that prohibit a business, like any of those on the panel here with me, from doing their work, or legislation that is requesting money to support a certain program area within businesses. We take those requests and work with members of our state capitol to translate them into bills that hopefully, after they've been able to run through the legislative process, will be passed. And then those bills are, as I said before, in a way really helpful in supporting these different business needs. So, for example, Anita is a woman of color. She was able to likely work and benefit from the Emerging Entrepreneurs Program at the Minnesota Department of Agriculture. If not, there is a program that is set to support, especially Black and Brown people who are interested in the agriculture space and want to find a footing and entry point into such a space. I would, for example, be able to work on a funding request or money or a policy change that makes it so that there are easier entry points into the agriculture space for women, women of color, etc. The reason that I started doing this work was because I'd started working for small nonprofits. I worked for the state of Minnesota as well, and I led the city of Minneapolis's government relations work for quite a few years. And as a result, I actually employed firms who lobbied on behalf of either the city of Minneapolis or nonprofits initiatives. And during that process, what I ultimately realized is that, in my experience, there was a missing gap in between lobbyists or firms that were able to overlay experiences of communities of color, immigrant communities, low-income communities, as they were advancing those types of legislation at the Capitol. And I love the work that I do. I get excited to do it every single day. I'm a big nerd about it as well. And so I wanted to help create a space where I could both do that work in support of policies, initiatives that I care deeply about, but then also begin to build a bench of others who want to do similar work as well. So, like I said, it's myself, former Representative Hodan Hassan, and then we have a junior lobbyist as well. And so our team collectively works with nonprofits. We work with governmental entities to advance legislation, again, solutions that need either policy changes or funding requests through our state legislature. We work with these clients in advance of those initiatives.
Thank you. I need some question to you. Tell us a little bit more about your business and what inspired you to start your business.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Lanima. So, as I said before, I am a third generational farmer. My grandparents were farmers, my parents were farmers, and right now I am also a farmer. So growing up, we lived in the farm. We eat in the farm. My parents will cultivate in the farm, and that is what they will sell, and then we'll eat some. So we legally grew up. Our school fees and everything that we needed was from the farm. So coming into the United States, I actually had already attended a 2 years course of agriculture in Cameroon. And when I arrived in the United States, I didn't know how to actually manage myself with the agriculture because I had no information then. So I started looking for information, trying to see how I can start a business for myself. At that time, I was not actually thinking about, doing the farming business because all I had in mind was I knew that getting a farm in Minnesota is going to be hard. It's going to be so hard. I cannot. So I completely forgot about that. So when I stumbled on Minnesota African United, they were giving a Step for Success class for businesses, and I happened to register. So after I registered for this Step for Success, after that class, there was a farm event that was coming, which is Farm Fest. So the CEO just asked me that he knows that I have a background in farming, if I'm interested to attend Farm Fest, and I immediately accepted. Accepting at that point, I was not really accepting because I wanted to do the farming, but I was just going to have fun. I was just going to maybe just explore it and see what's going on there. So reaching there, my mentality actually changed because of what I saw, the people I met, like all those things that I've been learning in class, they started clicking. Seeing how mechanized and the things, I also talked to people. So when we were coming back, I told him that I have to get a farm in Minnesota. He thought that I was joking. I insisted. I said I need to get a farm right away. So fortunately, at that moment, there was this down payment assistance grants going on, and then he encouraged me to apply for it. And that day was the last day of that application. So I was lucky enough to apply that same day. And I applied, I forgot about it, and I was doing my thing, just going. One day I just received this email and said, congratulations, that I have been selected for the down payment assistance grants. Then they asked if I'm interested, I should email them back. So I was like, oh, this is real. So I actually emailed them back, and then we started a process of actually getting the land. So at this moment, I acquired a 10-acre of farmland in Princeton. Last year, I started farming there, and then I was also having a rented place that I was farming there also. So at that moment, I started seeing a lot of changes because the business mindset that I had and what I acquired from Minnesota African United, I started bringing those things together, putting all those things together and walking behind the scene, those things that people don't even know that you're going through. Sometimes when I see it, I actually think, I'm like, if I did not do this, this wouldn't have happened. If I did not do this, this wouldn't have happened. So every day I keep encouraging myself that I need to get going. And I am happy where I am at right now because I'm actually seeing the progress of my work and the progress of my business. That is where I'm at. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Esther, to you also, please tell us a little bit about your business and just quickly what inspired you to start your business.
Thank you for the time. I'm gonna be short. I don't have much story behind it, but my inspiration pretty much is family. That's where I can start from. As a single parent, then COVID had just hit and I lost my job. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to begin. I have kids to feed. I have kids to help with homework. And because now school is from home, something new we didn't see coming, I had to think and think fast because we don't have, as immigrants, we don't have much support. When it comes to whatever you're dealing with in your household, you have to figure it out very fast. Otherwise, you end up homeless. You end up like a lot of things going on. So when I looked around, and fortunately or unfortunately at that point, I just filed bankruptcy, personal bankruptcy. And I'm like, okay, I'm at the point where I don't know what to do. But I had some savings. I was like, what I'm struggling with is being able to get something that is flexible. So flexibility. And when I looked at it, I've been interested in getting into healthcare. I did not want to be a nurse from the beginning, but my late mother was a nurse. So, and I always wanted to make her proud. I wanted to do something in healthcare. And I had talked to people. I knew what was going on, the shortage of help in the healthcare, especially due to COVID. And that's when I decided to set up my healthcare staffing agency, and it was a turning point for me at that point. So that's just a little bit of my inspiration. What was your other question?
No, I think you answered the question. Tell us a little bit about your business and what inspired you to start it. So I'm going to stick with you for a little bit, and thank you for the inspiration. But what are some of the challenges you've encountered in starting your business, and how have you overcome them?
Oh, the challenges, financial challenges. That's a big one, especially in the business that we are in. You have to, you get paid later, but you have to pay your employees now. So they put in the work, you have to figure out how to pay them, but you have to wait 45 days, 60 days to be paid. that financial challenge right there is something that most people will not understand, because you're required to pay them regardless you have money or not. If like now I'm running my payroll weekly, I have to make sure I have funds for my payroll every week. Now, one big challenge that we had, especially last year, one of our big vendor went ahead and filed bankruptcy. No one prepares you for that, especially in small business. They filed bankruptcy. That means we lose money. We lost $65,000. You lose business because this was our biggest vendor. We lost business. We lost money. Like there was a lot that was riding on it that you had to lose. At that point, you're like, should I let go of this business or should I keep going? And because we're very resilient as Africans, we don't give up easily. And I had to sit back, re-strategize, and try to figure out what is the way forward. And that is where Minnesota African United came in. I remember having meeting after meeting after meeting with Brazil almost every week. And then there's also ESA and there's Elevate. There are a lot of people out here that are able to support. And I didn't give up. I just kept on moving. And it was like literally from April of last year through October, we did not have business. And at that point, you're like, I have business loans I need to pay. I have people that are working I still need to pay. But we had a good turnaround and we acquired new contracts and we are back again running almost to capacity of where we were when we everything was almost at standstill. So
Wonderful, thank you. Fatima, I want to come to you with the same question. I know you talked about government affairs, especially pulling a community look at you with glazed eyes. So how did you break into this space, and especially as an African immigrant woman? And what are challenges you've encountered? Yeah.
Thanks for the question, Nalima. I broke into this space based on relationships. The work that I do is really relationship heavy. It's being able to maintain, establish, cultivate, and then maintain relationships with legislators and legislators from both sides of the aisle, legislators who represent the metro area as well as those who are, representing Princeton, Minnesota, Big River Falls. So throughout the entire state. And I guess for me, luckily, I did work for the state of Minnesota, like I said, and I've worked on issues that are, seemingly bipartisan, meaning Republican districts are impacted by such issues as well as Democratic districts. And so as a result, I've been able to get into the offices of whole spectrum of political leaning folks. That, and then, because I was able to work for the city of Minneapolis, as a city government interacts with a range of different issues, and especially a city like the city of Minneapolis, they have a public health department, for example. You wouldn't think that a city would have a public health department. They have a public safety department. They employ people, and so therefore there are things like employment laws or pensions. They have jurisdiction over certain bridges in the city as well as the state of Minnesota as a result. And so infrastructure, things like, roads and what you need to improve them, or the Viking Stadium when that was being financed and refinanced. So, I've been afforded the ability to work for institutions and employers that really have wide jurisdiction on issues, and therefore I've been able to work on those issues on behalf of my employers. So when I had the idea to launch a government affairs firm, I had already established, both experience as well as relationships, and utilized those when I started thinking about, for example, did I want to start a government affairs firm? There's maybe one other woman-led, let alone Black woman-led, let alone immigrant-led government affairs firm in the state of Minnesota. And so the idea of starting it was very daunting as a result, right? There's a lot you know, and there's a lot you don't know when you're starting a business. And so what I did as well was I leaned back on the relationships that I established. There have been great mentors that I've been able to have in on my team, and I utilized them. I asked the right questions. I asked them, "What do you think I don't know?" And during that process is like why I think I became a bit more comfortable with the idea of starting my own business, and as a result, just listen, learn, glean, and put one foot in front of the other. I think one of the challenges with the work that I do is you can never guarantee someone that what they're working on at the legislature is going to pass. And if someone does that and is doing lobbying work, I would really question their integrity as well. There are a plethora of dynamics that can come into play that can impede what you are advancing at the legislature or advance it. And for some communities and some individuals, or a potential client who may not have ever worked at the legislature, articulating that reality with them it can be hard, but you have to keep repeating it, right? I can't guarantee this is going to happen. We're gonna utilize all the tools in our toolbox, right? All the things that we have control over. We'll do what we can do. Ultimately, what happens on your bill at the end of session is dependent on a whole lot of legislators, right? Either agreeing or taking action or not opposing, money being available, etc. And so, I think as a type of business that really can guarantee that the money that you're paying to employ me to advance your piece of legislation may not necessarily lead to it passing. And so being comfortable and transparent on that reality is, I think, one of the most difficult things. Secondly, we do work on a contract basis. And so my team and my ability to pay everybody and myself is dependent on some of what Esther said too, right? Actually getting contracts signed, right? Because if we don't get contracts signed, then that means we don't have work. And so what that has meant for me is being able to be planful from a budgetary standpoint on funds that go in, what needs to be put aside so that we're able to pay staff, as well as all the other things that we need to do to actually run a business. And I don't have a lot of other examples to look at, right? From, again, Black woman, first immigrant woman to do this work. And so I'm always looking, and, Basil and I have talked a lot as well. So I've leaned on him and his expertise. But it's the work that I do is unlike some of the work that both Esther and Anita are doing, in the sense that they are uncharted territories that we are navigating, and it really requires community to be able to effectively problem solve as we come into contact with many ups and downs in our journey.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, Anita, apart from being a farmer and being in the business, you're also a leader and in the space of leading other farmers and coalescing other farmers. Talk to us a little bit about what that looks like, and also the importance of female leadership, and also the importance of having women being involved in our food production, and what that means for you.
So for me, being a leader in this space, it was an opportunity for me because I had to learn a lot from other farmers. Me being in the midst of other farmers from Africa who are parents, and having to interact with them, I just learned a lot, because what is coming from them and how to interact with them, it's also a task for me. So what I actually do with them sometimes is just getting into the community, Like Fatima said, the relationships, the connections that you have is one of those parts that is very important in our businesses, in our lives, because those relationships, you actually fall back to them. Those relationships actually help you to navigate your way to another step, to another level. So, being a leader in this community, we also have our own challenges that we have been facing. For the farmers in Minnesota, especially in the Black community, it's been so hard for them, for us to be able to get maybe to sell the produce. We do quality produce. Like most of the farmers, they do organic produce. But where is the market? Before you go to look for a market out there, you have to work. And sometimes if you have that color to go and stand there to ask for somebody that, oh, can I sell my produce to you? Just your color itself is a no-no. You will make calls, they will turn you down. You will make calls, you will try your best, they will turn you down. So you can just imagine the feeling. You have 10 calls, and in those 10 calls, and nobody is saying yes. So that is one of the challenges that we are having in this African community of farmers. One other challenge that we are having is how to establish our various farms. For example, myself, I have a 10-acre of farmland. And right now, I'm trying to see how to establish this farm, how to put some equipment, how to have this farm running. It's a lot of money. We actually know that the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, they actually have some grants going on, but you applying for that grant, you are only one person applying for that grant. There are other hundreds of people applying for that grant, and you're not even sure that at the end of the day, you'll be able to have that grant. So that is one big challenge of being a farmer in Minnesota too. So I always just encourage us to always work together, attend networking events, conferences, make those connections, because those connections are the one that have been helping me throughout my journey. If I wasn't attending conferences, I did not attend networking events, I don't think that I'll be where I am today. Because when you go to those spaces, you meet a lot of people with different ideas, different background. You can talk to this person, and this person says, oh, I know this person that can help you out with this. And that is how it keeps going. We keep working like that, but some of us in the African community too, it's so difficult for us to attend those events because we don't want to create that time for it. But I will encourage every woman out there, every business person out there to always try to attend those networking events, community events, conferences, because those are really helpful. Not only sitting down and saying that you don't have time is not helpful. If you want to build your business, you have to create time for your business. You have to work for it. If you don't work for it, you won't achieve it. And taking somebody's card or number to come, you don't just have to come and sit on it, but you have to make that call. Make the call again and again and again until that person answers. That is how I do it. And if I don't do it this way, I will not be able to be where I am today. And I thank Basil for that, because he is the one that have been nurturing me for the past times, and I am just taking to what he's telling me, and I can see the progress, and I can see that things are changing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Esther, I want to come to you. So, talk to us about the importance of just, I think it's been covered a little bit, but in terms of community as an African woman, how is bringing your culture and community into your space, into your business? What is the lens that you pick from community, and how has that impacted your business?
That's a really good question, and that's a topic that will need a whole day. But culture and women and immigrants, especially African, that is a heavy topic. And I say this because I've been a woman my entire life, and I've been a single woman, a single parent that is raising kids by myself. If you look at that and bring in culture and then running a business and trying to make it through, it's just like, oh my God, what is going on? It's a challenge that I think I've gotten better in navigating it because you wake up and you have one responsibility after another, and then you are a leader in a community where people are looking at how you're making your decisions, how you are handling yourself, and how you're doing things. At the same time, there are people who see you like you shouldn't be in this space. You are in a space that you're not supposed to be because you're a single parent, you are a woman, you are African, you are not supposed to be where you are. You walk into a room and you're given a side eye just because you are a woman and you have all this. You have cards stacked against you. But despite the fact those cards have been stacked against me, I never let that stop me or slow me down on how I do things or on how I handle my business. And I think I took the place where I'm underestimated is where I shine. Because the moment you underestimate me, you give me a reason to do better. You give me a reason to prove you wrong, that you underestimated me, but trust me, I'm way better than you think I am. I've had people come to me for advice after underestimating me, after thinking that I'm probably not good enough. I reach out to people. As we know, the African community is the largest community, or the immigrant community is the largest community in healthcare, nurses, CNA, TMA, and all that. I reach out to people. They turn me down. They don't want to work with me. But then they will turn around and they have an issue. Guess who they're reaching out to? To me for resources, for advice, for direction. I will not turn them down. I'll still help. But down the line, we're going to end up in a conversation on when are they going to come work for me? And I've built relationship that way. I've been able to get people on my team by just keeping on pushing and not letting anything or any obstacle as a woman to slow me down or stop me from doing what I'm doing.
Sure. Fatima, let's come to you now. So after people have felt so inspired after this talk and they're thinking of starting a business, but there's never enough time in a day, our cups are full and runneth over. How do you balance it all? Family, kids, community, extended family. We're Africans, so we know the reality too of extended family, right? How do you balance that, Fatima?
Yeah, no, that's such a great question. We juggle a lot of complexities. I mean, as women, right? It's Women History Month. As immigrant women as well. All the immigration activity in Minnesota. I think it's safe to say that many of us, if not all of us, have been impacted by that in some way or another. And it's not just by perhaps family members or our communities here, but it's also our extended community, to your point, Alima, right? Like, I know for me, I have dual identities as well. Part of the Middle East is being terrorized right now, and my family there is being impacted by it. And I've got family in Liberia, and I've got my family here as well. And when you were asking that question, it made me think of what my day looked like yesterday. And I have both girls that are in volleyball, and so we spent Saturday and Sunday in Watertown, Minnesota. Me in one part of the state, my husband was taking the other one to another part of the state. And while there, I took my laptop with me because there's still work that needs to be done, even though I'm in Watertown and some high school with barely anywhere to sit at the floor and get work done. There's still work that needed to be prepped for this week. session. We're in the heart of the legislative session. It's pretty fast paced. And so time doesn't stop just because I have something else going on. I also have two girls, like I said, and they have a lot of hair. So they wanted a hair washed and flat ironed or blow dried and flat ironed yesterday as well. And so I had to find a way to do that. I found that way to do it. I also wanted to make sure that my family ate and we didn't have to spend hundreds of dollars eating food that we really don't like anyways. So I also found myself making dinner. And what that meant is that by roughly 8:30, I sat myself on the couch and said, for the next hour and a half, I'm gonna attack all my to-dos that I needed to get done, work related that I didn't finish over the weekend, so that I can enter Monday being as prepared as possible. Again, going back to Women History Month, right? There's a lot still that we as women we are expected to do, and managing that expectation around what we feasibly can do because of the amount of times that are actually available in a given day, and what is expected of us is a constant friction. It's a friction for me. It's a conversation that I have with my girls around society expectations of us, the conversation I have with my husband around society expectations of us. And, we may talk about doing the things that we need to do. And ultimately, there are times where push comes to shove where I just got to do what I have to do. My girls here need to be done. My husband doesn't know how to do it. He's a terrible cook, so I don't want him to cook. And I still need to do all my to-do so that I feel as prepared as possible. And so, there are many learnings, and I do find that being in community and talking with other women about like ways that they are attempting to manage and juggle all that society demands of us while still having downtime to take care of ourselves, both physically and mentally, is those are important conversations and network that I find valuable, so that I'm able to continue compartmentalizing, right, and showing up in the best ways that I can to be successful, both for myself and my community that I care so deeply about. So there's no magic bullet. They're just moments by moments, day by day opportunities to show up and be the best Fatima that I can be on this day.
Let me stick with you for a little bit because you said something important. So my next question is, what is the legacy you hope to leave as a result of your business? And what is something that you hope will be different for the next generation, especially of African immigrant women entrepreneurs as a result of the work that you're currently doing?
Yeah, no. Legacy. I'm not a big believer in legacy necessarily. I'm a big believer in the now and what I'm able to accomplish and do now. And it's wonderful that our firm has grown from a one-person firm to now 3 people total who do represent a full spectrum of cultural representation as well. It's myself. I've got Hodan. She is a Somalian. I've got a young guy from Colombia who is also right. There aren't this amount of representation at the legislature within our firm that we've been able to see even over the last probably 5 to 10 years, and so I'm working on really again building that bench of people who want to be able to do this work but don't have an access point. They don't have an entry point into it necessarily. We are doing the work to provide people with internship opportunities. We are educating people on what does it mean to walk the halls of the state legislature. What do you need to know? Do you know that it's accessible to you? Do you know that you can call your representative? Do you know you can call your senator, that they will take a meeting with you if there's an issue that you are experiencing in your district that they represent? And so my vision for the now is to continue doing this work, is to continue to present government affairs and lobbying as a profession for someone who wants to do it, a profession that can pay for your livelihood, that can perhaps help you buy your house, send your kids to school, because there are a bunch of other people who've been doing this profession long before me and long before many of us were even here. And so that's the vision that I'm actualizing, is continuing to build the bench and present government affairs and lobbying as a viable profession that you can enjoy, and that helps you give back to your community as well.
Some question for you, Anita. What would you like your legacy to be as a result of your business, and what are you working on right now that you hope to change for the next generation of Black female farmers who come behind you?
So, talking about legacy, for me, that legacy I want to leave is not only a family legacy, I want to leave that community legacy. That legacy that even when I'm not there, the community will benefit from it. Even when I'm not there, even when my kids are not there, the community will continue to benefit from it. So saying that, I will go directly to what I'm working on right now. So right now, I'm working on actually trying to build. I don't just want to build a farm that you would just come to farm, come to grow your fruits, vegetables, but I'm working on building somewhere that when you come to a farm, you actually feel that difference. I'm building something that when you come there, for example, there is vegetables, there is poultry, there is fishing. And then you also have another little corner that you can rest. There is a rest area. You can just come there to relax. You can come there for a conference. You can come there for any events. You can come there to rest. That is what I'm actually working on. And hopefully I will make it. I'm following your footsteps, Nalima.
Oh, wow. I feel no pressure at all. Not at all. So, as a right at you, what is the legacy that you're building, and what are you working on right now to change so that the next generation of African immigrant young ladies will have a different experience when they want to get into your line of work?
I would say I do agree with what Fatima said. I am of the now, not the tomorrow, because tomorrow is overrated, if you ask me. So the now, like, what are we doing now? Right now, I think my legacy, I want to see like the future immigrant entrepreneurs work together as a team, because we lack that a lot in our community, and that I've come to learn that we lack teamwork, and we lack and most of the things that needs to be accomplished. Like, for example, what Fatima does, lobbying, coming together as a team and having a lobbyist lobby something for you, you get more success than just doing it as an individual. So as small business owners or our young people getting into business, I am trying to encourage more and more people to find the need of working together as a community, working together, because we form something that is more long lasting than just having a focus of just benefiting and moving on just on your own. You're really not going to gain much, especially in a business like what we do now. You're not going to get much from just being an individual other than being a team working together to make a difference in the community. So my legacy is just encouraging that more teamwork, and also reminding our immigrants or our young people that as much as a lot of cards are stacked against us, we can do it. It is doable. It might look like it's not, but it's doable because we have the resources. We have the people are ready to help. That is Minnesota African United. We have ASA. We have African Development Center. We have organizations out here that have resources that are willing and able to guide us. And now I've added Fatima to my roster. I'm going to reach out to you, definitely. And when we know that we have this kind of support, let's lean on to that support. let's not try to do things on our own, because there's a lot that we don't know. Because we come in with this culture that we have no idea. The way we do things in Africa and the way things are done in America is completely different. But we have these organizations that already have an idea of what is going on and how things are being done. Let's lean on these organizations and get the help that we can need to get going. So it might look like it's not doable. It is definitely doable with the right resources and with the right people backing you up.
Thank you so much. This has been a great discussion. And now I want to give each of you 60 seconds to give us a final word, whatever you would like to share. If there's anything I did ask you that you came here wanting to say, I'll give you the final word. Give us a parting shot, and I will start with you, Fatima. One final word, and I will go around to everyone.
Okay, I'll say the thing that I think everybody on here is going to agree with, which is Liberians have the best jollof rice. I'm joking. No, I will say that I love where Esther left off, which is the community piece. I would love the opportunity to see more of us working together, or just living lives together, finding just ways to do the things that we do, drink a cup of coffee, share some food together. Because I think that's the beautiful richness of our African history, is when the community is able to come together in support of each other. So much beauty and joy happens, so much healing also happens. And so if there's, anyone who's listening, or Brazil, maybe this is something, you want to put together as well in the future. Just would love an opportunity just to get to know others so we can celebrate our shared backgrounds, celebrate our commonalities, and then learn from each other as well. There's richness that I think we don't oftentimes have an opportunity to experience. And then lastly, go on to the internet and Google who represents me. Who represents me? And a link will come up where you'll be able to go and put your address into a space, and from there they will populate for you who your House representative member is and who your senator is. And you'll be able to click on their link and go to their legislative websites, and there will be contact information on how you can reach out to them. It's really important that every one of us take advantage of connecting with their elected officials at the legislature. And so a simple hello, my name is Fatima. I live in your district. Here's my address. I want to meet with you for coffee, is a really great way to take an initial step to participating in the legislative process, which affects you in one way or another, even when you don't know. There are policies being made that are affecting us on a daily basis. And so engaging with them is really useful. And I think one of the first steps that we can all take to influence what is impacting you, even when you don't even know it. So who represents me? Go ahead and Google that, and then follow the steps after. Thanks, Naima.
All right, Anita, on to you. One final word, 60 seconds.
So for me, I will talk more on encouraging our youths and our kids, especially those youths that are just coming out from college and they want to do something for themselves, just to look more into the business space. Because in this area right now, you discover that most of them are just thinking of working and doing this, just keep working and keep working. But they also have to start thinking of getting into business, doing something that they like, or just get into the space and try to understand, because a lot of them, they don't really know more about how to run businesses and stuff. So I'm just encouraging more of business for our youth in our community. Maybe I'm actually planning to organize something in the future just to talk to the youths, talk to the African community, the kids, to just have it in mind, or if they're interested, we have the resources that can help them, and they will move from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Esther, one final word from you.
One final word from me is this world of business opportunities in this country are unimmeasurable. We can do it as a team together, but you need to have a good foundation. And where to find that good foundation, reach out to organizations out here that are providing these trainings for small. Don't get into business if you don't know what you're doing, because you're going to get yourself in more trouble than you think you could have. So get into reaching out to MAU, reach out to, again, I keep mentioning ESSA, these are all organizations that I've worked with and I've seen what they can do. Just reach out to them, get the training you need and get started. What leaves us not knowing what we're doing is not getting the right information from the right sources. So get the right information from the right sources, not just on the internet, because the internet is wonderful, but we have people who have put in the work and done the research that are providing this information to us. Let's go get it. And let's do this. Thank you.
Wonderful. I want to thank our panelists so much for taking time off their very busy schedules to come and share their information with us and also to celebrate this wonderful day. Women deserve to be celebrated, and definitely African women deserve to be celebrated. And thank you so much for coming to do that with us. Thank you so much for all our participants and who took the time to come to our Tender event, and definitely the folks who are working behind the scenes. The first thing I'm going to say, please reach out to our wonderful panelists, patronize their businesses. They all have something for you. If you would like their contact information, if you're registered, reach out to Stephanie. She will share the information of our wonderful panelists and all their businesses. Please reach out to them, find out more what they're doing, patronize the businesses, and figure out how you can support them. So we've heard a lot about building community. There's a lot of organizations that have been mentioned here that can also support you in your journey. If it's something that you're thinking about or other people are thinking about, reach out to Stephanie as well from Minnesota Africans United. She'll be able to share all that information with you. Thank you so much gratitude to you wonderful ladies, my panelists. Have a wonderful day. March is International Women's Month, actually. So the whole month women are being celebrated. I know International Women's Day was yesterday, but we're celebrating women the whole month and every day. Really, truly, we should be celebrating women every day. Thank you so much. Have a good morning.
MAU Simple Steps Workshop for Starting a Business is a 5-week training that one gets to go through. It gives you the path on where to start, what to do, how to register your business. It positioned me in a way that it gave me this information that really helped me. There was a big impact on my business because by participating in the plan, I knew exactly what to do. We started from 5 employees and now we have 50 employees. Outside of Minnesota, we have employees working in Wisconsin, Indiana, including Kansas, Missouri. So we are expanding, going national instead of just being a state-based business. It's not every day that you find a mentor that understands you. Having an organization that understands that as Africans, as immigrants, the way we do things is a little bit different. We might be Africans, but I'm from Kenya, there's someone else from Cameroon, someone else from Ghana, Liberia. So working with every individual as they come really, really makes a difference and makes it really worth it to be part of.